Hi folks, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be working on my spits. I've had them for a little while and I'm finally going to get around to actually making them usable. Before we get into the video, as always, please do me a favour, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're informed of all the videos as and when I do them, and don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help out with the YouTube analytics. Also, can you have a look at my Teespring store? You know, it's my merch store. We've got some t-shirts, mugs, trousers, all sorts of products in all different colours. You know, please go check that out because it really will help me out sort of continue doing these videos. Also in the description, please check out my friends' channels. We all try and help each other out. You know, we all do slightly different things. You know, we're a good bunch of lads and we always have a giggle and, like I say, try and help each other out. So, these spits. I actually made these for someone else probably about 3-4 years ago. He never got around to using them. And then I ended up buying them off of him. It was what I paid 100 quid for them, and it worked. You know, it was cheaper to buy them back off of him, and I built them, than it was to actually buy the raw materials and start from scratch. But when I built them for him, it was using stuff that we had lying around. So, you know, we got this tube bit here, and then you know we got the tube bit on the upright on the actual spinny bit. I don't know what technical term is for it, but you know, it's quite a loose fit. You know, it was never great, and it was never designed to take too much weight. It was only going to have a Mark II Escort on it, but like I said, he never ever used it. My plan is to sort of make it a bit more universal for other vehicles. I mean, when I designed it, I've put plenty of adjustment in here, as you can see. But what I want to do is I want to get rid of this bar for a start. I've got a pair of old wheel bearings that I'm going to mount on there, so it'll be a nice smooth roll round. I also want to put it on casters, so that's where I'm going to start on this. So yeah, that's pretty much the basic A-frame. You can see it was never really finished. It's got these round supports on it at the minute. This was old handrail. It's thick enough to take the weight, but like I said, I want to put casters on it. So my plan is, I've got a load of this angle iron that I'm just going to weld straight to it, and then I'll weld some tabs to put the casters on. So the first job is cut these down to length. Bye. Now I've got all the angle out, I need to make the actual mounts for the casters. I'm going to use this 3mm plate that I've got. I would like to have used 5mm, but I just don't have enough of it, so this will do. The weight should be spread across the actual angle iron and the main rib anyway, so all this is doing is sort of locating it in place and hopefully stop it moving. If I need to brace it up later, it won't be too much of an issue. First thing I need to do is get this cleaned up because it's got a lot of surface rust on it. Always use a shield and a respirator for this shit. It's fucking nasty. Now it's all cleaned up, it's just a matter of marking it out and cutting it. I'm going to use my plasma cutter, but I've got to use my old small compressor because my big one's sort of playing up and it's really, really noisy, so I'm just going to crack on with it. Right, I've got my 2 strips, all plasma cut out. I'm going to be cutting this way on the bandsaw for 2 reasons. One, I know my bandsaw's square, so they're all going to be square, and 2, it'll actually be a lot quicker than having to mark out each piece, square it up, measure it and everything else. On here, I can just go for it. So I've clamped the 2 together, so I can clamp 2 together. First thing I'm going to do, square it off, and then we can start measuring. Now it's just a matter of going through them. I'm not going to make you watch that, because it's going to take a while. Right, so there you go, I've got my little stack of plates. I've done way more than I needed to. I only needed 8 initially, although, you know, I mean, it started out, I did a couple extra to sort of account for any mistakes, but I'm also thinking that, you know, because I want to future-proof this, so, you know, I'll end up putting 3 casters on it, spread the weight, so I did extra. But then I was actually thinking, because I'd already plasma cutted it and it was the right shape, I need to put new casters on that. Well, I need to make a new frame for that. So, new casters, so I just ended up just rattling the whole lot off. So, I've got plenty of caster plates. I need to clean them up, clean all the edges. I've brake cleaned them, all the oil off, but I just need to clean all the edges up now. And then start marking them out to drill the holes. Right, this is a top tip for you. All I need to do is just break the edges a little bit. You know, I don't have to sort of take off much material, I just want to take off the sharp bits. This is perfect for pretty much a dead flat disc. You know, I don't want to use a new one and start ripping into my things, but then this is no good for doing anything else. So I always keep a couple of these around, you know, just for this sort of shit. As always, safety first. Right, we're done. Now it's just a matter of marking them out. Oh, yay. Right, this is actually one of the jobs where I wish I had some proper Dicam, but I don't, you know. So I'm going to use the big old marker. It's just a standard permanent marker, it's not a Sharpie or anything. Ralfy Customs, he calls this, I think it's the Hillbilly Dicam. Go check him out, go show him some love. He would have had these fucking done by now, would he just put them on his mill and just gone bosh, 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 bastard. So yeah, all I'm going to do is just mark out the corners on every single one. So then that way, when I come to describe it, I can see exactly where it is. Nothing special, doesn't have to be too neat. Just imagine your toddler colouring in your face. That's what you need to do. This one's running out. I'll be back in a few hours. Right, what I'm going to do now is actually mark out the holes for drilling. I don't think I actually explained why I'm drilling this, because I could quite easily have just welded these on, you know, and that would have been a lot quicker and, you know, just as strong. Right, the reason I'm actually going to drill and bolt these is because all of the casters that I have are second hand. Yeah, all of the casters I have are second hand, and I only actually have 6 swivel casters, where if I'd had, ideally I'd want sort of swivel casters on sort of like all over the place. So, you know, we've got 4 on each A-frame. I'm going to have to put 2 fixed casters at the back, so you know, with the 6, I should still be able to manoeuvre it around and stuff, but you know, it's not ideal. So that was the first issue of, like, you know, I'm going to have to replace 2 at some point. Not only that, is like I said, these are all second hand, and there's a couple of different makes. Them 2 are the same makes, and then we got like these ones as well. So I mean, I did trawl through the internet and try and work out what the actual weight limit of these is, or of these are, but you know, I couldn't find any actual specifics, so I don't really know. This size of caster with the same bolt pattern, they fluctuate from 100 kilograms all the way up to 250 kilograms of weight load each. So the way I'm looking at it at the minute is that the Escort what is going to go on first only weighs about 1200 kilos, you know, curb weight. You know, that's with all of the wheels on, the engine, all the running gear and everything else. So with 8 casters, I've got 800 kilos and I should be well within the limits of that car. It should only weigh about 500 kilos, if that, you know, completely empty. So yeah, going to bolt them on, so then that way I can upgrade them later, and I can also sort of change out what I need to do. So yeah, it's a bit more work, a bit more of a pain in the ass, but like I said like earlier on in the video, I want to actually make sure that thing's completely future-proofed. I don't want to just be doing escorts, you know. I want to get bigger cars on there, you know, maybe a bus, well, not like a big bus, but you know, a Volkswagen bus or something like that. So I want to make sure this is spot on. I mean, these wheel bearings will take it. That's why I wanted to go with the wheel bearing, you know. So that will take the weight. It's just making sure all of the other components are spot on. So I'm going to start marking it out. I'm going to use the fixed caster because it's easier to get into. Now I'm not going to be that precise with this. You know, we've got a clearance hole there with a little bit of adjustment, and then I'm going to make sure this is a clearance hole as well. So there's going to be plenty of tweakage. All I'm going to do is eyeball it over the plate, get it as central as I possibly can, and mark one hole. In the centre. Just like that. So now what I'll do is I'll get my vernier and I ain't even going to turn it on. I'm just going to mark it on the edge like that. So I'll just go through and every single one now. Don't hate for using a vernier. Right, these have hardened jaws and they have like really pointy tips for this reason. It's literally what they're designed to do. Right, now we've got all of that side done, we need to adjust it for this side. So just adjust the caliper and then go again. Now everything's marked up, it's now the just as tedious task of dot punching every single one of them. Right, I'm going to start off with a 3mm bit. I'm going to pilot hole all of them, and then I'll go through with a 9mm clearance hole. I'm just going to use a little bit of oil on each hole, nothing special, just a little blob, and drill.
One eternity later.
That's all the pilot holes drilled. I'm going to give these a quick clean up and then drill the 9mm clearance hole. Same again, a little bit of oil, drill the holes. before I go drilling the rest, I just want to check this, make sure it all lines up, and then we can go for it. Up, mate. It's almost like I know what I'm doing, look. Right, let's crack on. Right, so I swapped the drill bit out to an 11.5 now. All I'm going to do is just break the corners and get rid of like, all the swarf and stuff. I'm not going to use any oil because I'm literally just going to be touching. Right, so I've gone through, all of these are now cleaned up. I've marked out the position where they need to sort of be. I've also gone through everything and I made sure it's completely clean. I've gone through everything with brake cleaner, cleaned it all up so I know it's, you know, I'm not going to get any sort of oil splattering back through from the welds. I've positioned it 5mm back from the edge, so in that way I can weld on the back rather than the edge here, because I think it'll end up being a lot neater. So yeah, you see I've clamped it all down, I'm ready to go. What I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to tack it here, you know, just put 4 tacks on it for now, on each side. Then I'll flip it over, reclamp it, and then I can seam weld this bit before spinning it back round and then welding it back here. Yeah, the reason I want to do that is because I think it's going to be a bit awkward just doing a full seam seal, full seam weld in here with the clamps. Where if I flip it round, then I can reposition the clamps on the end, and I know it's not going to move then. Right, got all these welded up. Quite happy with how it turned out. I've got good penetration on it. The welds are a little bit high, but I'm only running 0.8mm MIG wire, where I really should be using 1mm at least for heavy duty stuff like this. But you know, that one's a little bit shitty. I don't care. It's a tool. Yeah, it will do the job. Most of the welds are pretty good. Like, oh, I'm happy with that. But as I say, it will do the job that it's needed to do. So the next thing I need to do is I actually need to clean up all this galvanised so I can get them welded on. So yeah, that's going to be the fun job next. As always, safety. Oh, put the respirator on as well. Galvanising is nasty shit. You get the picture. I'm going to get this finished and then I'll be back. Right, so I've got everything cleaned up on both A-frames. Now I want to get these welded up. I've already gone through and marked it at inch intervals because I don't want to be seam welding the whole lot, just every inch or so will be fine. Now ideally I'd have a massive bench for this, but this is the only bench I've got and I can't fit them on there. And this floor is not great. So the plan is I'm going to put these underneath it and then clamp them in, and then I'll support it using some other angle that I've got to raise it up, and hopefully that should keep the pads level with that, in theory. Right, sweet. Now I think that'll be good. If I unclamp everything so it resettles, get some more clamps on the ends, and I can tack it in at the end. Right, now I've got it tacked up, I want to get it actually on the bench so then I can weld the rest of it comfortably. You know, laying on the floor is horrible, and if you're not comfortable with welding, you will never make a good weld. So, the plan is, I don't know whether you're in frame, I've got these wheel stands. So I'm going to put this on the bench and then support it either side with the wheel stands. That's the plan. Right, I'm pretty happy with this. I can get to everywhere that I need to get to. It's a little bit tight with the bench, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to start in the middle and then work my way out, basically. Nothing too complicated. Clamp it up, weld it. I'm hoping I can get these clamps in at an angle and I can just move them along. Right, well there you go, that's all welded up. Yeah, I've only welded it on inch sections, I didn't need to completely seam weld it. I've put the casters on temporarily. I need to cut these bolts down, that's why they're sort of upside down at the minute. They're going to come off anyway, so I can focus on making the plate. But yeah, that rolls around really nicely. Don't have to. So I'm happy with that. I brought it out to the car so we can sort of gauge how it sort of sits, and I'm quite happy with this of it. And then obviously with the plate here, the car's going to be up nice and high, should have plenty of movement, and even if I've got a bigger car and a wider car, these should still work, so I'm quite happy. Alright, well that's it. You know, this one's done with the casters on. They've got to come off again so I can sort of put the plate on. I don't want to be chasing it around the floor, so it's easy to take the casters back off, have it on the floor. The other one's on the bench, it's still cooling down, but I'm going to call it a day for this video, otherwise it's just going to get too long, get too boring. So join me next time where we're going to start making the plates for the wheel bearings to mount to. As I said, I've got some 8mm plate. It's going to be a pain in the ass to cut out because I know my plasma cutter won't go through it properly, so I've got to use a grinder, billet drill. I've got to mark out all the holes and stuff. So yeah, it should be an interesting video. It'll be a little bit of a learning curve for me as well. I've never actually done PCD, so we'll work it out and hopefully you will learn something as well. Like I said at the top of the video, please like, share and subscribe, and check out my mates in the description, and I'll see you for part 2. Catch you later. Bye.